Welcome. You are about to take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition show. For the next hour, allow her to prepare you in becoming a magnet for a profound love-infused relationship by identifying and focusing on solutions through love. Awaken the light within and let your essence shine. And now, here's Deborah Beauvais on Love by Intuition, all part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Welcome, everyone. Bonjour, mes amis. And yes, here I am, Deborah Beauvais, founder and owner of the Dream Vision 7 radio network. And if you're tuning in for the first time, we are going into our 19th year with the new year 2026 coming up. And we are thriving and here for you to help you live a more conscious life. And so I would invite you to listen. You can listen all kinds of ways. Ask Alexa if you can play Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen all over the world and get the apps because you can listen in the car as well. So I have wonderful guests today who are Sister Dr. Jenna, for one, and Gina Mazza. And you probably have heard them on the show before because we had them back in October 14th exact, and I invite you all to take a listen, go back into the archives, Love by Intuition archives. You can do that right in the search, and up will come the show. So I invite you to listen to that. And if you've been living under a rock, you may not know Sister Dr. Jenna. She is a spiritual leader, author, and speaker whose life's work has been dedicated to elevating human consciousness and fostering peace worldwide. She is the director of the Meditation Museum in the metropolitan Washington D.C. area and was host of the popular America Meditating radio show for 12 years. She is currently hosting the Next Normal TV show on YouTube. Her dedication has worked out where her profound impact on society has been recognized with the President's Lifetime National Community Service Award under President Barack Obama. She's a proud member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and many other things that will pop in throughout the show. And to get in touch with her, you go on her site. It's AmericaMeditating.org, all one word, AmericaMeditating.org. And then my other special guest is Gina Mazza, has been living her passion as a word provocateur and sacred scribe for more than 3 decades. She's the author of 4 books in the personal growth category, including Everything Matters, Nothing Matters, which was praised and publishes weekly. She's an indie journalist. She's spotted in media outlets around the world with diversity. She profiled the diversity of thought leaders, from physicians to research scientists to politicians and all of that. To get in touch with her, last name Mazza, Mazza, Gina Mazza, all one word, .com. So without further ado, I should say, towards the end of the show back on October 14th, Sister Dr. Jenna mentioned she was trying to understand the cruelty of the way the world is. And so I felt compelled to invite them back. Our topic is what happened to our humanity, and is there hope for a world on edge? So I invite you all to call in. Bob is in the house, and our number is 833-220-1200. He'll put you right through, 833-220-1200. So welcome back, Sister Dr. Jenna and Gina Mazza.
Hi, Deb. It's so good to have you with us again, and I'm happy that the 3 of us are together.
Yes,
I am too.
I love it. I love the energy, and you can feel it. It's tangible. So thank you. Sister Jenna, and Gina with her. Everybody, it's the wisdom and the collective wisdom, should I say, that excites me, and we're all learning. And so let's get into it. When you did say that that you were trying to understand the cruelty, would you elaborate as to what was on your heart at that time?
Sure. It's not that I know intellectually. In my tradition of the Brahma Kumaris, we're clear that this acronym that I have used very often, ALGE, anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego. It's the root cause of our suffering. It's the root cause for divorces. It's the root causes for violence. It's the root cause for war, for jealousy, competition, criticism, judgment. It's the root cause for our suffering. I intellectually know it. I have emotionally felt it when I've been in that consciousness, but I've always been able to pivot towards my truth, because I know that that is not my real sense of identity, or that's not my real way of showing up in the world. I know it. I don't know how I knew it. I don't know if there is still an element of purity or innocence left in my subconscious that it triggers me back to being my real self. So why I said that is I still question, what is it that our collective humanity have struggled with accepting history, and how no one ever wins with the kind of a selfishness, division, hate, racism, corruption, dishonesty. Nobody wins. And even if you're on the top and you've got your millions or your billions, or you're in a position of power in your corporation, in your country, if people are still suffering, I just don't know how you could still feel like it's just their thing. We're okay. They're lazy. The things that I hear from my friends who are millionaires or billionaires. And so why I mentioned it, and I think Gina can, share some insights into it too, is we've seen that ALGE doesn't work in the long run. Bible, the Quran, the Dharmapada, the Gita, the prophets, the seers, the saints, the life coaches, the grandmas, the grandpas, the parents that taught us how to be a nice person, how to be a respectful person, how to be a person of dignity and honor. I don't know why it's getting so quiet, that quality. And it's getting so quiet that it's just drowned out by all the negativity. Before I came on the air, I was getting ready because I'm going to the Bahrain's embassy tonight. And I don't know why, I just said to myself and to God that I call Baba, why is it that negative people get so much bandwidth on air, and positive people like me, they don't put me on CNN or MSNBC?
Exactly.
And I was like, what? Am I boring or something? I could accept that. There's a possibility. But why does that negativity get such showtime, So these are just my questions. I want my fans and your fans and friends to listen and ask these questions. What's going on with us as a humanity? Gina, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's all of that, and in addition to that we're in really interesting times right now. I think since 2020, the past 5 years, we've come into a place where a lot more people understanding that there's maybe some deeper games being played beneath the surface and maybe even under our noses. And I hear this a lot from people, that they feel that it's a much different world than even 5 years ago. It's become a lot more intense and polarized. And I was thinking about this when we were thinking about having this show today, and asking myself the question, like, why is it happening on a societal level? And I think it's basically three things. one is that what I just mentioned, that it's patently obvious that things are not necessarily as they appear. Like, we sort of know that things are different. And it brings us to a place where we don't realize how much we don't know that we don't know. And that can be really triggering for people to say, I don't know, or it's possible that I'm wrong about this thing that I think I'm sure about. The second thing I think is that all of this chaos going on is very, I'll say, inconvenient. People are not wanting to take the time to understand maybe what is underfoot at this time. It takes focus. It takes time away from other things. It's not comfortable. Like in some cases, people are waking up to the idea that they've been in some ways deceived in some ways, and it's not a comfortable thing to do, to be able to realize that, when you were asleep, somebody turned the lights on, right? That's how I like to look at it. And the third thing I think is, as a result of those two things, that it's just dysregulating. Like, I feel like people are just either anxious or depressed or overwhelmed in some way, and the crisis feels really existential, and that's really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to the point where people don't even know how to feel. And when that happens, when we're not able to express, we become frozen or disassociated in some cases, or even in denial. There's many people that I've spoken to also over the past couple of years that just say, that's not really happening, or that's conspiracy theory, or whatever term they want to give it, and they just kind of blow it off. And that's not helpful either, because it's really happening. It's really happening to us at this stage of our evolution at this time.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you can speak to it articulately, which is so nice. Sister Jenna, you mentioned accepting history and what you were sharing. And it's interesting that you would mention that, because I question that, why is it that people do not want to hear the truth? I mean, you can go back to, the slave times where they want to rewrite history, and you wonder, why is that? And someone has to step up and say, hey, no, because learning that history, I believe, is how we can be better humans, how we can come to the humanity that we all wish to be. So I wanted to see what you had, when you mentioned that, what you had in mind.
Well, definitely on a perfect day, what you said is that if we do practice or we look at history, we could learn a lot from history. We can learn a lot about ourselves. But I want to invite everyone into the last maybe 10 years of especially U.S. history, Americans' history, and looking at the tumultuous 10 years that we've been through. And quite frankly, I don't really know how we've survived it. And I know the main reason that we have some systems laid out that protects us. And as we're witnessing this particular period we're in, those systems are getting dismantled. And there might be a benefit in that, and there might be a curse in that too. So there are so many factors that are weighing heavy on us as citizens, because I feel that we are being forced to look within ourselves to identify if we've really been honest with our journey and our purpose here on earth. And that's why I'll go back to what Gina was sharing, that some people feel like the wool has been pulled over from their eye or something, that they felt deceived. And what I've learned in my journey is it's hard to deceive somebody who is honest with themselves. And when you have that temperament, it's very easy. It's like it's an automatic trigger or signal that can just tell you, yep, you know what's up. It's intuitive. You can feel it.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. And I think you and Gina will agree with me. Our country has been through a lot, and many other countries have been through challenging periods in their journey. The difference with what's going on now nationally and globally is the globalization and social media. And that we have a generation of kids who don't look up. They just keep looking down. And I don't know what that future looks like if I can't speak to a teenager who will just sit with me and actually just enjoy being in my company. Instead, they enjoy watching a TikTok video. So I'm just sharing certain thought processes for us to try to engage in. And number two, to recognize that my safety and my fruition or my fortune as a person cannot ever be dependent on a person or a leader of a nation. That it depends on the way I live my life. Even if they're taking me to destruction, have you noticed, just watch, within the last year or so, the amount of posts about nuclear wars, the amount of movies being released about nuclear wars, the amount of conversations on YouTube and predictions about nuclear wars. And I suspect what the scriptures have told us, there will be a time of this major Armageddon where we will not get rid of the algae from our personality, and that algae will destroy us. And that's what we're seeing. So my query is, I want to get the algae out of us so we can have heaven on earth. And that's where I think the spiritual work comes in, where we really have to start to practice to listen to our thoughts and our feelings and weigh them against, would love want me to think this? Would love want me to do this? And to me, that's the God in us.
Yes. One of the things that I like to think of is when someone can't see what is happening or chooses not to see because they don't want to be pulled into anything that's dark and heavy. They want to focus on not knowing at all. That I always think, would God do that? Would God think that? And for myself as well. You know, is this something that God would suggest to do? All of that, and it kind of, you know, like you're saying, Sister Jen, it brings you into the reality of how much we don't know and how much we connect with each other and God and energies and all of that. It brings us to the truth of what really is. But it's
and you know I'm going to say to you and Gina and everyone listening in, God is definitely not responsible for the chaos that we're witnessing. It's the algae in us. And we need to get this algae out. It's my simple language.
Yes.
Right, Gina? Yeah. How do we get the algae out, Gina? Tell us, how do we get that?
Drano, I don't know.
But you mentioned, Gina, about feeling, and that some people don't want to feel. And I think that is powerful because
I mean, I agree.
You feel, I was just going to say, when you feel, that comes back to the truth again. When you allow yourself to feel, you actually learn about yourself.
For sure. And I do agree with what you both were saying there, that this is it's really a spiritual battle that we're battling. These forces that most people remain unaware of, but are deeply influenced by. We have this illusion of progress and convenience in our life, but what that's doing is concealing at the same time a growing spiritual void, and that void is too easily filled by deceptive influences. And Sister Jenna, you said earlier about why don't they have loving people on the media? Why do they only have negative stuff? Well, that's because, that's what sells, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, we can fall into this trap of wanting to bypass the reality of what's happening, and that's what causes that frozenness in our systems. And
I want to add to that, Gina. I want to add it, if you don't mind. Just for the three of us here, have you ever been in a relationship, a situation where either you've offered so much to the person, or maybe the person didn't give any return, or maybe there is someone that's going down the tubes and you've done everything you could to get them out of it? Or maybe you're feeling not strong enough, sort of insecure, to open your voice to make a difference, so staying quiet just feels for you to be more peaceful. And I wonder if that's what our world is going through, that they've been so swamped with so much negativity that they've given up hope for a better humanity, and they just focus on their little corner and wish to do the best that they can. What do you say about that?
Yeah. Well, I think it ties into what you were saying a minute ago, Sister Jenna, about social media and how there's so much filling our heads. We have so much information, and that's one of the things that I would suggest that our listeners really keep in mind, to, don't turn on AI for everything that you need. It's like we don't need more data. We don't need more data and information. What we're seeking now, I feel, to bring us back into balance is wisdom, and wisdom is in the heart. It's not in a machine. It's not in an app or on a phone. It's in your heart. And so it does come back to what we've been saying here several times already, that it's really it becomes an inner game, like being able to step inward and look at do your own shadow work before it gets projected onto others. It's really easy to just project onto others and to blame everyone else, whether it's this political party or that person in power or that industrial entity or whatever it might be. But I think it's a time when it's important for us to turn that inward and to look at our own shadow. I feel like that's a really important part of the stage of the game that we're in right now with our evolution, is being able to live more from the inside out.
And perhaps that's why things are crumbling around us, because we've taken so much support from these facilities and props and possessions, and I think we have lost one of our greatest assets, which is our spiritual power. And perhaps maybe we are all, by lieu of the destiny, being forced to turn our attention back inwards in ourselves to begin to ask, who am I? Who do I belong to? Where have I come from? Who is God? What am I here to do? And your purest part of you should be able to answer that pretty smoothly.
And I think that it's okay to be wrong. I think the way many of us have been brought up, that it's hard to say, okay, I own that, I was wrong. But that's something that as you evolve, that it becomes natural for you to say, okay, I was wrong, I apologize, and move on. So that was something Gina had said a little earlier about people don't want to say, I'm wrong. With that said, we need to take our break. Everyone stay with us. This is such wisdom from Dr. Jenna as well as Gina Mazza.
Experience a different yet profound healing with reconnective healing. Includes yet expands beyond any and all known forms of energy healing. The reconnective healing spectrum is comprised of the full healing and evolutionary continuum of energy, light, and information. It allows for healings that are not just physical, not just mental, not just emotional, yet go beyond that to bring healing that includes the evolution of your very being and essence. Deborah Beauvais, trained and certified by world-renowned Dr. Eric Pearl, offers appointment hours at Seekonk Family Chiropractic in Seekonk, Massachusetts. For questions or to set up both distance or local sessions, call Deborah at 508-431-1959. Again, 508-431-1959. Or go to lovebyintuition.com. That's lovebyintuition.com.
Calling all authors. Have you been considering an audiobook? Well, look no further. Come take advantage of Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's unique in-house audiobook production, which includes benefits and bonuses from our radio station. Let our knowledgeable staff guide you to create the audiobook you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank. Check out our full one-stop service from A to Z, including the ACX process. Schedule a free consultation by calling 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or go to dreamvision7radio.com.
After narrowly surviving the attack on Sandy Hook Elementary, first-grade teacher Caitlin Royd DeBellis was left searching for answers that would never come. Eventually, she chose to focus on questions that could be answered. How do I make sure this tragedy doesn't define us? How do we get our control back? Those two questions led her to found the 501c3 nonprofit organization Classes for Classes. When gifts poured into their classroom, she decided they would help someone else by paying it forward and being kind. This developed into a social network which allows K-8 classrooms to connect so that every student in the United States can learn these crucial lessons. Classes for Classes' mission is to build students' social-emotional intelligence by connecting them to care. All C4C projects are crowdfunded. Any teacher in the U.S. can visit classesforclasses.org. That's classes, the number 4, classes.org. Sign up today.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids children's book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we are back. I am honored because I am with Sister Dr. Jenna and Gina Mazza, and the phone lines are open, so if you would like to call, have a thought or a question for either guest, our number is 833-220-1200. Bob is in the house, and he will put you right through, 833-220-1200. So we are back, and we're talking about what happened to our humanity, and Sister Jenna actually has put out in the conversation, how do we get rid of the algae that's within us and with the world. And really, when you think about it, we're barraged with all kinds of negativity and things that are hard to even see. So it's really feeding the darkness that's within all of us, because I feel as though there's dark and light, and that's why it is a challenge at times to stay in the light, even though we well know that's where we want to be and that's who we are. Yeah. So, and that's one of the things that, it's hard. Like for myself, it's too much for me to hear or see some of these undignified and horrendous things that are happening with your own eyes. It's just too much, and it's a shock to our system. How do you feel about that, Gina?
Well, I think a lot of that is the outpicturing, I guess, of all of the fears and the wounds and the traumas that are coming to the surface right now. I do think that our journey of consciousness is a very long process spanning many lifetimes, right? But I think there are key junctures, and one of them is right now. And it's a tough time, but it's also a time of great opportunity for us to, step back and look at the bigger picture of why we're doing what we're doing. And I see that everywhere. I mean, I do feel like structures are deconstructing and disintegrating. And while that's happening, it's causing people to look at, well, why was I so adherent to this structure or devoted to that cause or whatever? It's helping us to sort of see things almost with fresh eyes, and to look deeper and to question our motivation for why we believe the things we believe, or I like to say, if you don't know what to believe anymore, that's a really good start, because it means that you're starting to question things on a much deeper level. And I just feel like for a long time we've just been putting on the proverbial Band-Aid, of things that are ailing us, and now is a time uncomfortably to rip off the Band-Aid, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity to have a huge glow up of humanity, and do things in a more loving, smarter, and just more love-filled way going forward. And if we do, maybe we will have people like Sister Jenna on the evening news talking about things that are really uplifting, instead of hearing about all of the the crazy evil stuff that's going on in the world right now.
Right. When you think about the news, a lot of times they may have a little tidbit of good news, and you wonder, why does it have to be a tidbit?
And I think,
I remember.
I think. Go ahead, Gina. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember that. I remember NBC News at the end of their segment had like a 30-second feel-good story. And I remember feeling that, like, why did, if you've made it this long on the broadcast and stayed to the end, then maybe you hear the feel-good story. And it was a good start, right? It was a nice send-off for people watching the evening news. But it's a good question. And I remember saying that to myself, like, wow, that you had 95% stories that are traumatizing, and you had 5% of something that makes me feel more balanced. And that doesn't seem like a good percentage.
Right.
And maybe that's why it's given rise to podcasts like yours, Deborah, that people are looking for some truthful answers. They're looking for something to inspire them. And I think as I observe the way the media is moving, there's a lot of buying out taking place now, where, these media giants are going to control the information that people who sit on the couch for hours absorbing all of that, keep them alive. And I feel that I want to find a way in how do we touch a soul who sits on a couch, listens to falsehood and believes in it, and just walks around their home and cooks and eats and talks, and that's it. There's got to be more to it than that. No, there's got to be more. There's got to be something that says, you, yes, you right there sitting on the couch. I can sense you want so much more for yourself. you know you're going to have to get up and do it, right? You know, and they keep feeding you stuff that you become numb, and your discernment goes out the door. So you can't discern what is truth from falsehood. There's a current politician in Congress. She's a woman from Georgia, and she's just given her resignation that she will not run for re-election in her district and in her state. And it was because the leadership of the country basically went after her. And she was a very strong supporter of the current leadership of this country. But she says, I'm not going to act like some battered woman and keep quiet and stay. That's not who I am. And as I look at her, I wonder to myself and to God, I said, is she really speaking the truth? Or is it just another plot? But I have to say, when I look at her, this is a woman who just seems totally disillusioned, that I cannot believe this is what this really is. And she's stepping down. And I don't know where she's going to go with it. I don't know if it's truthful, but I just feel that how much hatred can you promote until it gets back to you that now you're on the other end of that hatred. Now you know how everyone feels. So it's such a powerful time, everyone. And I think it's forcing us to be good people, to be godlike people, to be spiritually awakened people, to be integrous, you know, to walk with that sense of integrity and compassion.
Right. And we have that free will to choose. And we know what it feels like. We know when we choose love, how it feels within. And we know when we don't choose love, how that feels. And the choosing love piece really just lights up the room. And I trust more people will feel that. They'll get a glimpse of it. And then once they have that glimpse, it'll feel good, and they'll take the step forward to learn more about themselves and why they're here. You know what I wonder is where, you know, everything that's happening, maybe not the details of it, but society, humanity, the human race has been here before. Back in the days when they were slaughtering babies. I mean, and you wonder, how did those people rise up and continue in life? Sister Jenna?
I don't think they had Facebook or Instagram. I just think they automatically pulled from within themselves their innate God-given resilience that every human being has at some point. That's my answer.
Gina?
Well, you had used the word disillusionment, and I feel like that's a really good word to describe what's happening with a lot of people nowadays, because I do feel like this is a collective sort of dark night of the soul. And again, I feel like it's necessary to see all of life, you know, the light and the dark, to really integrate those two things in order to really, truly evolve spiritually to a higher place. And that's what we're being asked to do right now. And at some point, hopefully, by the grace of God, you know, our vision, our compassion will be large enough to include anyone who opposes us or is that we think is the other or the enemy, right? Because all that's doing is simply contributing to the continuation of the destructiveness. It's that end of separation, that, you know, realizing that we're all innately the same, that is going to be our salvation, basically. But I think that requires us to span out, like way span out, and look at the larger picture of what's happening beyond our personal interests. And I do, again, feel like social media and the media and other modern conveniences have caused us to be very self-focused in a way. And I wanted to add something really kind of hopeful that I saw just this morning, which is this trend on Instagram of younger people, Generation X, I guess you would say, younger than millennials, that are eschewing all of that. They're saying they're taking their profiles offline. They're not posting photos of themselves. They're wanting to get back to reading paper books instead of books online. Like all of the things that our grandparents did are things that now are attractive to them. And so I'm hoping that pendulum swings back in that direction, and we're able to get to a place where there's spaciousness and silence, enough silence in our daily life that we can have that introspection. And look more inward and not be so tattered and frayed by everything external that is vying for our attention on a hourly, minute-by-minute basis.
Yeah, and I think that's why we have a chance to listen to what our thoughts are saying. Where are we going? I'm going to share with you a personal story, and this is real. We had a fire in the ashram. The tech person who is responsible didn't take any responsibility. And I said, that's fine, love him. We've worked together for 18 years. We're moving on. Certain things are occurring in our relationship, and I'm beginning to realize I just don't trust the person's decisions anymore. And then a long story short, I caught myself walking around holding this person's weaknesses in my feelings, in my heart. And I knew that was against my principle. And I knew that this was against who I have become as Jenna, not even as a spiritual person, as Jenna. And that morning I woke up very emotional, very teary-eyed. And I'm talking to God and I'm saying, this is not the person that you're making me. What is happening? I'm trying to find a way to get the recording of all the mistakes this person continues to make. And it's never a solution to me, go get rid of yourself, goodbye. That's not the way I solve things. I know that we're all on a journey of transitioning and changing our consciousness. So that day, everyone, I woke up and I just said, it's not me. And then I told myself, Jen, I just hate that you can't have good wishes for him. That's not you. You have to stop. And just by me being so honest with my spirit responded and says, I know, Jen. It's been a lot. It's okay. He too is trying his best. And after I had that self-talk with myself and God, or the divine, or the supreme, or Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, whatever language you're comfortable with, I saw him that afternoon, and I didn't have any of those feelings anymore. And that's why I go back to the audience. I'm begging you, have such a deep, honest talk with your thoughts and your feelings and emotions if you really want to contribute to a world of harmony and love and kindness. It has to start with the cleanliness of your own spirit.
This is true.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And it's very powerful, and when we do that, we, again, goes back to how we feel, and we feel free from all those thoughts that we had rolling around in our minds. Yeah. So it's also retraining our minds, which is the ego, to be on the path. And yet, remember, we're not in spirit here. And because of that, we do have thoughts and different things that pop in, and we surprise ourselves with that. But again, we are not in spirit here, in the fullness of spirit. So it's okay if we have a bump, as long as we talk with God and ourselves to alleviate it.
And to really know yourself, I would love to quote from The Sister Gita Effect, which is the book that Sister Jenna published and I helped her with this past May. I will quote directly from Sister Gita, who said, "To practice remembering who you are, know yourself as an imperishable, immortal being of light. Because unless you feel your own depth, you cannot truly feel the depths of God."
Mm.
Oh, I miss Sister Gita.
And this is a time where we can take should take our break, Bob, so we'll be back in a moment.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be loved. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids Children's Book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times best-selling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
It's a child's job to play, to learn, and to have fun. It's an adult's job to keep them safe. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18? Every day, families enter the Children's Advocacy Center because a child's courage to tell someone what happened to them. Keeping our children safe starts with a conversation. This is Michelle Aranger, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center. Learn more on how to keep your child safe. Visit cacofbc.org. This message made possible by the Fall River Rotary Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
To get in touch with Sister Dr. Jenna, go on her site, AmericaMeditating.org. Again, AmericaMeditating.org. And for Gina Mazza, just her name, Gina Mazza, Mazza, GinaMazza.com. And I feel as though, for myself, that even with everything that is happening, even in my own personal life from the day I was born, that it's a privilege to be here in these times. It's a privilege to grow our soul, and there's always hope. So, what do you say to the people out there that are living in denial and focusing on their immediate life right in their TV room? What do you say to someone like that? Do they have hope? Is it possible for hope?
I don't know if I'd say anything to them. I would just look at them with loving eyes and smile. And from the deepest part of my feelings, send them my blessings and good wishes that maybe they'll find their way. And I also want to share with the audience that, You know, as we're sharing what might seem like a heavy conversation, it really isn't when you're awakened. It's like eating bread and butter. It's very easy for us. But for those who might still be uncertain about stepping into the realm of their inner world to begin the inner work, I want you to know that when you look back at your life, you will celebrate how much courage and strength you used to get you to where you will be. And even if there are folks like myself and Deborah and Gina who might sound or seem like we're a little ahead of the game, yes, we might be. We might be your elder brothers and sisters. We might be a little bit at another spiritual level. But it doesn't mean that inside of us we at all wish like leaving anyone behind. And that's why we have these conversations, so that perhaps somebody sitting on the couch might say, yes, this is so true. I just want to grab somebody's hand to just pull me out of this stuckedness that I'm feeling. And that's what I'm hoping that our conversation and hope for a better humanity will create.
I see having someone open their hearts and minds and go within, as you're saying, and trying it out. That's what I hope. And it just brings such a richness to one's life when one is awakened. And we're always learning. We'll learn the next lifetime we come. But I just always think of those people, if we can help them awaken to that first step and feel hope for their own lives, hope for their fellow man and woman, and hope for the world. Because it's not just us, it's not just United States, it's the entire orbit, it's everything. And I just hope that we open someone's heart to try and go within. Just try it and see what happens.
I think a step towards that is to, I want to say that we've been sold sort of a bill of goods that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so we see a lot of polarization because people are so quick to take sides. And I really do feel that it is important and also can be quite fun, right, to hold, I think it was Carl Jung that called it holding the tension of opposites. So the ability to hold the paradox of the entirety of an issue or a conversation or an ideology or any of that, and to really listen with curiosity and listen to the mystery of what's being articulated and do it with an open heart and an open mind. So again, I feel like it's been maybe like a new age mantra that we hang out with people of like mind. Well, I would say don't do that so much. Actually sit with people who disagree with you and just listen. You don't have to win the argument or take a side. Just be curious and maybe you'll learn something. And I think from that, we'll understand that we have more in common than not. And from that will grow our hope even higher than it is now, because it's going to lead us in the right direction anyway. I don't know if that's too big of an ask for people, but I think it can be done with, again, an open heart and not with any agenda, just wanting to sit down and really truly understand what's on somebody's mind and hear them out without disagreeing with them or trying to change their mind, but just, holding that space for them and walking away and contemplating it, and maybe there is something that will expand your view or not, but it sure is better than all of the infighting that we have going on right now.
And it will and is changing. It is. It's already in the ether where it's changing. And we'll be seeing more of that as we go along, knowing that love is rising and will continue to rise.
The irony is that everything that we're going through as a person and as a collective globally is accurate. It's supposed to happen. All souls are actors playing out their part. And it's so important for me to keep focusing. I call God Baba in the Brahma Kumaris, and I'll say, Baba, what's mine to do? What do you want me to do that contributes to the world that you see? You know, and I think if we all acknowledge, yes, whatever's going on is right, it's supposed to do. What's wrong is right, and what's right is right. Like there's a reason behind it all unfolding, right? And I just want to close with just pleading and begging your listeners, and for those who might be on the fence, if not turning inwards because you're not certain what to see, just focus your attention behind your eye and just ask yourself questions. What would you be without attachment to your labels? And see what you feel. You might end up feeling the real nature of your existence.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we only have a minute or so. Gina, do you have closing thoughts?
Well, I do agree that in the end, God wins, and that everything has already been seen to by God. And there really is a sense, especially these past 5 years, that we've been play acting in a sense. You know, we are I think, Shakespeare, I think we mentioned this on our last call, that, Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage and we all have a role in it, right? So I think if we can use that analogy as a way to step back and just be still and know that God is in control, that we won't be so quick to lose our temper, and I think ultimately we will find hope and even joy in that.
Beautiful. Well, I thank the two of you from the depth of my heart to join us today and share our thoughts, and I know that it is making a difference in people's minds. It's feeding the collective consciousness with joy and hope and love. So I thank you for that. And who knows what the future brings? We may get together again.
Thank you, Deborah, for all you do.
Thank you for all you do and the work for years and years, both of you, and dear Sister Jenna, of all your goodness. It's felt. It is felt. It is heard. And you're seen. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe one day you'll see me on CNN News for the right reasons.
There you go. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you.
Many blessings, everyone. Happy holidays. Take care.
Happy holidays, yes. And for everyone listening, share the show. Listen to it again. You'll feel a nugget, and you can take that nugget and incorporate that in your day-to-day. And remember, there's unity consciousness. Every time you focus on love and goodness, you're feeding that collective. And until we come together again, au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week, all designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Beauvais, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.